Hello, I'm violinist Heather Broadbent, and today's episode is going to be all about the fourth finger. I've had a lot of questions come in this last week on the online violin education Facebook study group in regards to the fourth finger, and I wanted to make a quick video to talk about three very important things about the fourth finger. Posture, intonation, so that's the accuracy of the fourth finger, and if it's playing in tune, consistency, and strengthening exercises you can do for the fourth finger, okay? So first off, what's very, very key for the fourth finger to be able to work effectively is your posture. If your left hand isn't set up quite right, if you don't have a proper left hand, it's going to make it very difficult for the fourth finger, and this is extremely, extremely key, okay? A lot of violinists actually have shorter fourth fingers. It's normal. I mean, the fourth finger is a shorter finger than the other fingers, and it's a weaker finger, just naturally. It's smaller, it's thinner, you know, so it just needs some extra TLC in comparison to the other fingers. Most of the time, violinists actually learn the fourth finger last, and then that means that the fourth finger has not as much time as the other fingers, and it's already got, a slow start, so it has to kind of play catch-up for all its life, and we need to not have it feel like it has to play catch-up. So let's go ahead and delve into this posture. So when you set up your left hand to play, okay, you want your fourth finger to be nice and rounded and curved. And in order for that to happen, the palm of your hand needs to be facing the neck of the violin. If you set up like this and have the palm of the hand facing you, that's already setting up your fourth finger for failure, okay? Because it has to really stretch. So what's really key is watch this knuckle here, okay? That it's as parallel as possible to the neck. Now, it's not going to be completely parallel. I mean, that's not going to happen, but it needs to be as parallel as possible, okay? So meaning it needs to be really as close to the neck as possible. That's comfortable, okay? So that's the first step, is to make sure you have good left hand posture. If you need more details, I will leave links below for other videos I have done specifically for the left hand posture, okay? So that is key. And then also when the fourth finger comes down, he needs to come down nice and rounded, as you can see here, okay? See, let me show you this angle. It's nice and rounded, all right? So it really needs to come down nice and rounded as much as possible, all right? Now you're going to find that it's a lot easier to do that on the E or the A, maybe even the D, and you may find on the G, you may have a little bit more difficult time for it to come down nice and rounded, but ideally you want it to be nice and rounded on all strings. And that's very easy to do when that knuckle is in the right place and not flipped out like this, okay? So that's the posture of the left hand, how you want it to have set up that left hand, okay? Now I'm going to give you a really, really important key here, because I actually had a teacher ask me on the blog a question about her students who have short fourth fingers, or they kind of come in, like maybe they go in a little bit, how to help them. So I've had many students over the years with some of them with shorter fourth fingers than others, and the first thing that I have them do is actually set up their fourth finger first, because when violinists learn, they typically learn the first finger first, okay? Maybe the second finger, but a second finger, actually, in my opinion, is better to learn first than the first finger, because when you learn the first finger, your hand wants to flip out, so you're playing like this, okay? And we just talked about how that's not good for the fourth finger. So what I'd like you to do, and if you have students that struggle with a short fourth finger, is actually set up the hand in what needs to be done for the fourth finger to feel comfortable, okay? So you want to go ahead and set your four down, and you can even check that it's in tune. All right, so set that four down, have him be comfortable. And then, while that four is down, go ahead and set down all the other fingers. Maybe you need to adjust the thumb a little bit, you know? And then go ahead and come down the scale. Back to the E. Okay, and just check that nice rounded four. And then go up the scale. And you may find that it feels a little different, okay? Especially if you're not used to setting up the four first. This way, it really helps your fingers to know, okay, hey, this is what the four needs to have done for it to feel comfortable and rounded. And then the other fingers can make some adjustments if needed, okay? Excellent exercise to work this with is the first 2 pages of Stradiak. It's one of my all-time favorite exercises, okay? And it's a good exercise for all levels of violinists. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're a fairly, beginner, if you can read, To an advanced violinist, what is different is just basically the tempo that you're playing the exercise at. So it's a wonderful exercise for the left hand, and a great exercise for you to focus in on that your palm is facing the fingerboard, okay? So if you're not used to having your palm face the fingerboard like this, you may feel uncomfortable and you may get kind of like a strain here in your forearm because of all the work that you've done. And maybe you don't feel that while you're playing other pieces because you're not aware or mindful of making sure that your hand is facing the fingerboard. This is actually an uncomfortable position, honestly. I mean, we don't walk around, like this all day, We don't have our forearm twisted in such a way like this all day. So it is really unique to playing the violin. So do make sure you take breaks and stretch. If you need to check out my stretching video, I have some excellent stretches there to help you out, okay? So that's posture, very, very key. Second thing is intonation. You have to always have your ear tell you where the fourth finger needs to land. You can't have your fourth finger just land and think, okay, yay, great, I'm working on my fourth finger, it's landing, and I'm getting an exercise. But if it's not landing accurately in tune, then you're practicing incorrectly, and that's not good for your fourth finger either, okay? So you can practice with drones. So let's take that exercise that I did at the beginning, and you can just play it with the open E. Okay, and just check that 4. You can do that on every single string and check that 4 with the open to make sure it's in tune, okay? If you're playing up in third position and you play that G, you can check with your open G. Nice ringing G. Okay, you can play it with a drone with the open D if you wish. Okay, so just one, that's the first step. You can play with drones. 2, you really need to listen to the ring, that the fourth finger is truly in tune, that it's really ringing. Always know the pitch name. Always know the pitch name. Don't let your fourth finger come down without knowing what note it's playing, okay? Because then you don't have the recognition of like, okay, this is an E. This needs to sound like this, okay? So definitely know your pitch names. And then finally, let's give you some strengthening exercises so you can strengthen the 4 because it tends to be a weaker finger, okay? So I'm going to give you some different strengthening exercises. First off, is actually what's really great is actually to compare that fourth finger to all other fingers and make a relationship study on how it comes down in relationship to the other fingers. An excellent book for this is My Fourth Finger Fitness, and I have this in 3 different positions, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Volume 1 I think is 100 and some pages, and then I know 2 and 3 is like around 130 pages. And these are exercises specifically written to help the fourth finger know exactly what the relationship it is with the other finger, whether it's, say, B and E or B flat and E, 1 and 4, 2s and 4s, 3s and 4s, that type of thing. So you can get a really good relationship of what's going on with that fourth finger. When you practice these exercises, whether it be fourth finger fitness or Schradiak, you want that fourth finger to come down nice and strong, like a hammer, with good speed, okay? So not to have it come down slow and then down. It needs to come down with lots of speed. You can even do it without the bow, just like this, and listen to that fourth finger coming down like a hammer, okay? And that it comes down nice and rounded with a lot of speed, and that it's not tense, that it's nice and relaxed. It's just coming down with a lot of speed, a lot of strength. So this is a good strengthening exercise. Another one is left hand pizzicato. Okay. All right, so just practice on different strings, and you want to feel like you're ripping the string off the violin. Next, you can do that with other fingers as well, okay? Just to help get that 4 really nice and strong. Now, you don't want to do any of these exercises for a long period of time because that can damage the fourth finger, and you have to be very careful and listen to your body and take rests when needed. Now, vibrato is also an excellent exercise. A lot of people have struggled with weak fourth finger vibrato. So how to fix it? Practice it. Schedule it in your practice for at least 3 minutes a day. In different positions. Okay, and you do different vibrato, an arm vibrato, which I just did, or a hand vibrato. Or an arm vibrato. Okay, and like I said, in different positions, just to really get it going. And finally, you can also do a shifting exercise. This is very, very good. Okay, just shifting up and down the instrument. And also I have a wonderful exercise in the Violin Exercises program called the One Finger Challenge that specifically works on every single finger, shifting through the positions, including the fourth finger. So if you're part of that program, you can definitely hop on over to the One Finger Challenge exercise. You can find it in the table of contents. And if you're not part of the program, I'll share a link here where you can check out the Violin Exercise program, all right? So those three things, posture first, intonation, and strengthening exercises will get your fourth finger completely transformed. Okay, so I wish you wonderful, wonderful magical practices and strengthening your fourth finger. Ciao!